An 80-year-old man's having an annual checkup, and the doctor asks him how he's feeling. I've never been better. I've got an 18-year-old bride who's pregnant, having my child. What do you think about that? And the doctor thinks for a minute, and he says, well, let me just tell you a story. I know a guy who's an avid hunter. He never misses a season. But one day, he's in a bit of a hurry, and he accidentally grabs his umbrella instead of his gun, and so he's in the woods, and suddenly a grizzly bear appears in front of him. He raises up his umbrella, he points it at the bear, he squeezes the handle, and the bear drops dead in front of him. The old man goes, that's impossible. Someone else must have shot that bear. And the doctor says, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Gay Chip goes into the doctor's office. He's got some tests run. And the doctor comes back and says, Chip, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Got AIDS. Chip's devastated. Well, Doc, what can I do? And the doctor says, I want you to go home and eat 5 pounds of spicy sausage, a head of cabbage, 20 unpeeled carrots drenched in hot sauce, 10 jalapeno peppers, 40 walnuts, and 40 peanuts. Also a half box of grape nut cereal, and top it off with a gallon of prune juice. Chip's like, is that going to cure me, Doc? And the doctor says, no, but it's going to leave you with a better understanding of what your ass is made for, but...
Oh, that's awesome.
In a murder trial, the defense attorney was cross-examining a pathologist. Here's what happened. The attorney goes, all right, before you signed this death certificate, had you taken the pulse? The coroner says, no. Well, did you listen to the heart? The coroner asked. No, the attorney said. Well, did you check for breathing? The coroner says, no. So the attorney says, so when you signed this death certificate, you weren't sure this man was dead, were you? The coroner says, well, just let me put it this way. The man's brain was sitting in a jar on my desk, but I guess it is possible he could be out there practicing law somewhere.
Oh, that's rich.
This man went to a doctor. He said he wanted to be able to get a job at a local post office, but unfortunately he was just too smart. The doctor asked him what. When he gave a 3-digit reply, the doctor told him that procedure would have to involve half of his...
Mike,
so the man...
Oh, sorry, Mike. Wynott, the mic's cutting in and out.
Oh, man.
Not for me.
I know.
For me.
Sorry, the man went to the doctor and said he wanted to be able to get a job at the local post office, but unfortunately he was too smart. And the doctor asked him his IQ, and when he gave a 3-digit reply, the doctor told him the procedure would involve removal of over half of his brain. And the man insisted. He said, I gotta have this done. And since the doctor just happened to have a brand new laser device that could zap just the right portions of the brain, so the operation was planned, and the laser was hooked up to a computer that could monitor the man's declining IQ on a nice bright LED display. So the doctor throws the switch, the numbers start ticking off, 95, 94, 93, and suddenly the phone rang. It was the doctor's wife. They gabbed a few minutes. The doctor forgot completely about the patient. And when he hung up, he suddenly realized he ran to the operating room only to see the meter ticking down to 6, 5, 4, and he ran to the machine, threw the on-off switch just as the laser was about to wipe out the last remnant of the brain. Oh my God, says the doctor, what have I done? Speak to me, say anything. And the man looked at him and said, Al Gore announced my candidacy for president of the United States.
Al Gore. Yeah, global.
3 men met at a party, and it wasn't long till the conversation got around to their line of work and what kind of cars they drove. And one guy goes, I'm a veterinarian. So naturally, I drive a white vet. And they all smiled and nodded. And the second guy goes, I own a sign company, so I drive a purple neon. The third guy is suddenly quiet, and he was egged on by the other two. And he finally said, well, I'm a proctologist, and I have a brown probe. Three desperately ill men met with their doctor one day to discuss their option, and one was an alcoholic, one was a chain smoker, and one was a homosexual sex addict. Well, the doctor addressed all three of them. He said, look, if any of you indulge in your vices one more time, you're going to surely die. So the men all left the doctor's office, each convinced that he'd never again indulge himself in the vice he had. And while they're walking toward a subway for their return trip to the suburbs, they pass a bar. The alcoholic, hearing the loud music and seeing the lights, couldn't stop himself, and his buddies all went in the bar with him where he had a shot of whiskey. No sooner had he put the shot glass on the bar, he fell off the stool stone cold dead. His companions were shaken. They left the bar. They realized how seriously they had to take the doctor's words, and as they walked along, they came upon a cigarette butt lying on the ground, still burning, and the homosexual looked at the chain smoker and said, look, bend over to pick that up. He's dead, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.